Let's talk about Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. After having an amazing win last week against the Atlanta Falcons, 30-27 in overtime, Bryce Young and the Panthers came out flat tonight against the 49ers, and he lost his game 20-9. And let's start off with Dave Canales here before I get into Bryce Young and the rest of the team. The play calling in today's game was terrible. And we have seen this before with Dave Canales. Now, Dave Canales has done some good things with this organization, but he got outcoached by Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh. Very predictable, especially on third down. So many situations this year, even last season, Dave Canales will get away from the run game. He'll get cute when it's 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 3, when it's 3rd and short in general. He won't just run the football with Rico or Chuba Hubbard. Let's pass with Bryce Young. And if you don't get that conversion, now you're in 4th and 1, you're in 4th and 3, you punt the football away. Rico consistently has been the best player on the Carolina Panthers offensive side of the ball. He has 6 carries in today's game for 38 rushing yards. This is a player in back-to-back games this year had 200 yards from scrimmage. Chuba Hubbard had 3 carries, 16 rushing yards. And the 49ers, they did play tough against the run. The longest rush of the day went for 17 yards with Rico. But even if they crowd the line of scrimmage, you work off a play action. They didn't even attempt to do that enough in this game. When they did that last week against the Atlanta Falcons, he had a great game plan last week against the Falcons. Use those screen passes, take away the pass rush, neutralize that, take that pressure off of Bryce Young. You couldn't run the football last week, so you dinked and dunked your way down the field. Then you started to target the middle of the field with Tedero McMillan. You create those mismatch opportunities on the outside. And he did the same thing against the Green Bay Packers. They won that matchup. They ran the football with Rico. They put a lot of pressure on Jordan Love, and they took advantage on the back end. Bryce Young was not the sole reason why you won that game against the Packers. So we know that Dave Canales can have good adjustments in this league, but it just didn't work tonight against the 49ers. And this is a Panthers team. They need all the wins that they can get if they want to go out there and win this division. They're still in the thick of things here in the NFC South. The Buccaneers are in first place. But currently, they're on a losing streak, and Baker Mayfield is dealing with a shoulder injury to his non-throwing arm. It's an AC sprain, but that's something to monitor. You face the Rams this upcoming week. One of the best teams in the NFL. One of the best head coaches that you can have is Sean McVay. That's going to be a tough game. Then they face the New Orleans Saints. Say what you want to say about the Saints, but the Saints have given Bryce Young a lot of problems in his career, and you face them on the road. You have Seattle. You'll be the home team. But once again, they're one of the best teams in the NFL. You face the Buccaneers at home. You close out the season against the Buccaneers on the road. So you need to start stacking up wins here, and you need to be more consistent. But I was very disappointed in the play calling tonight by Dave Canales. The in-game management was terrible. The Carolina Panthers did little to nothing going into halftime. So they need more out of Dave Canales as a head coach because he is the main offensive play caller. And Bryce Young, I have said this all year long. I don't view him as a franchise quarterback. He will give you good moments. But right now, he's more so of a backup quarterback in this league. Last week, he had a great game, and I gave him his credit. I'm going to always give a player their credit when they play well. And last week, he played great. He had 448 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns. He was very decisive with the football. He got the football out quick, too. Tedero McMillan, the same with Tommy Tremble towards the end of the game. With Jalen Coker. Xavier Legette. Bryce Young was on fire. They couldn't run the football last week. So a lot of the offensive plays came from Bryce Young. But in today's game against the 49ers, you have open wide receivers, even though some of the play calls were terrible. He's throwing the football too early. He's missing reads. He's holding on to the football for a very long time. He did not play tall in the pocket tonight. He was not decisive with the football. He had 1 passing touchdown, 2 interceptions. Now that red zone interception, this was a bad play call by Dave Canales. You have too many wide receivers in the same area of the field. But Bryce Young could have easily ran it in for a touchdown. We've seen him do this before. He did this against the Atlanta Falcons early on this year. You just take it to the end zone for yourself. But he forces the football into a tight window. It pops up. It goes for an interception. You can say that's 50-50. That's on Bryce Young. That's a bad play call by Dave Canales. Later on in the game, Jair Brown once again across the middle of the field. Bryce Young throws the football too late. It goes for an interception. He is so frustrating. Due to the fact one week Bryce Young will give you a very good game, and then the next week he looks like one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the NFL. And that's who Bryce Young is. I'm not saying that he's the worst starting quarterback to have currently, but Bryce Young is an inconsistent player. Now, if he was a mid-round pick, that's fine. You know what you get with a 5th, 6th, or 7th round pick. 6 and 7 are the later rounds, but you know what you get with those players 9 times out of 10. But with Bryce Young here, it's different. You traded DJ Moore, multiple picks with the Chicago Bears to select him with the 1st overall pick. And there was a lot of questions about the quarterback position at that point in time. With the Carolina Panthers, should you go with CJ? Should you go with Bryce Young? They went with Bryce Young. Undersized quarterback. He was known for his rhythm and his timing and his anticipation. We're not seeing that consistently in the NFL. In certain areas of the field, Bryce Young just can't hit because of his size. And we saw that tonight. You can't throw deep down the middle of the field. Defenders, they put their hands up. It gets tipped down at the line of scrimmage. That's what happened tonight. He has to throw the football from different arm angles to get the football to certain places. He is going to be limited in this league. And in some of the games that the Carolina Panthers have won this season, you go back and you watch those games, Bryce Young was not the main reason why they won those matchups. Against the New York Jets, he was 15-25, 138 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, 0 interceptions. He played okay before he went down with that ankle injury. But this is the key here. They ran the football, and J.C. Horn had 2 amazing interceptions. Andy Dalton came in. He finished out the game. But Bryce Young, in this game against the New York Jets, had some solid moments. Maybe if he finished out the game, he would have performed better. Against the Dallas Cowboys, he was one of the sole reasons why they came back and they won this game. He had 3 passing touchdowns, 1 interception, 200 passing yards. Shout out to Bryce Young. Against the Miami Dolphins, another comeback victory for Bryce. But at that point in time, the Dolphins, one of the worst defenses in the NFL, and the same with the Dallas Cowboys. When you're the 1st overall pick, we expect for you to go out there and to be in the same conversation with Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. He's not even close in those conversations, and this is year 3 for him. Against the Patriots, it just wasn't good enough. 18-30, 150 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, 0 interceptions. You take away that game against the Atlanta Falcons, and you take away that game against the Arizona Cardinals, and it took him to have 55 pass attempts in that game to have 328 passing yards. You take away those games. Bryce Young is averaging 141 passing yards a game this season. And you have put wide receivers around him. You have put enough talent around Bryce Young, in my opinion. Now, Xavier Legette has been very disappointing. Jalen Coker has missed time this season. He's a very good wide receiver based off how he performed last year. Tedero McMillan, you selected him in the 1st round. You brought in this offensive line. This is not a bad offensive line unit for the Carolina Panthers. You have a dominant run game with Rico and Chuba Hubbard. And he still can barely pass for over 180 yards a game. How it stands right now, the Carolina Panthers are averaging 180 passing yards a matchup, with Bryce Young being the starting quarterback. That is simply not good enough. They need more consistency out of him. And Tedero McMillan, he had a receiving touchdown tonight. From a talent standpoint, he's one of the most talented wide receivers in the league already as a rookie. I have him being one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. You would think a big body wide receiver. He's a 50-50 guy only. That's not the case here. He is a very good route runner. His route tree is not limited for someone his size. Jalen, very good wide receiver. More so for number 2, number 3 type of wide receiver. Xavier Legette, I just don't see it. But they're going to keep him around on his rookie contract. He needs to be better. You have JT Sanders as a tight end. The same with Tommy Tremble. But the game plan tonight and the play just wasn't good enough on the offensive end. And your defense had 3 interceptions early on Brock Purdy. 3 chances to cash in points, and you just couldn't. And the red zone interception was killer for the Carolina Panthers. And the reason why it was a killer, you could have walked away with 3 points or a touchdown. But instead, you walk away with nothing. You're driving down the field. Bryce Young, once again, throws another interception. But that first interception was a killer for the Carolina Panthers. They did go for 2. They could have had 10 points in this game. But it was a penalty on the special teams with the 49ers. It was unnecessary roughness. They hit the center. He was defenseless. So they go for 2. Jalen Coker runs a backside slant. Bryce Young tries to give him the football. It just didn't work out. He had the sidearm throw to pass due to the fact the defensive tackle got his body up and he started jumping. Just a bad situation all around. I would have just stuck with the extra point, but they wanted to go for 2. And if you don't get the 2-point conversion, now you're in a tough situation. You're trying to play the numbers game here. You're trying to be cute. So instead of having 10 points, you're down to 9 points. At this point in time, if they were to go out there and they were able to stop the 49ers again, now you have to go for 2 because you're down by 8 points. Instead of just taking the extra point in that situation. Once again, Dave Canales. But the biggest questions here offensively will be the play calling with Dave Canales for the rest of the season and the play with Bryce Young. At this rate, the way that the Carolina Panthers are playing, if they make it to the NFL playoffs, they will most definitely be one and done. They're very limited on the offensive end. Defensively here, they've had some good moments, but they were breaking down towards the end of the game. And that's going to happen when your quarterback has 2 turnovers and there's constant 3 and outs. But you had 3 interceptions on Brock Purdy. Mike Jackson could have had another interception. The defensive backs played well in this game. The Russian defense did get out of hand towards the end, but that's going to happen. Your defense is tired. J.C. Horn did go down to injury. He was not able to return in this game. Be on lookout for that throughout the week. And I feel bad for this defense. This defense has shown some good promise this year. It's an improvement from last season. Last year, you just couldn't stop the run. This year, you've been better against the run. That opening drive went for 15 plays with the 49ers. 9 minutes. Constant time possession. But you have to play complementary football here with your offense and your defense. You see that your defense, they're very tired. They're gassed out. This is the coaching difference between Kyle Shanahan and Dave Canales. Take our time. Drive down the field, use time to our advantage. We get a takeaway as a team. Do the same thing again. If we walk away with a field goal, that's fine. Let's tire out this defense so towards the end of the game, they really can't stop our run and we can gash them. Then we could work off of play action. But Brock Purdy really interrupted that game plan with all those turnovers that he had. It is just so frustrating to see a team they had all that fight last week against the Atlanta Falcons, and the fact that you were able to win that game. Your defense was able to show up. And in tonight's game, your defense showed up. They had the 3 interceptions, but your quarterback couldn't cash in. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you feel about Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers? And it's year 3 for Bryce Young. I'm not saying bench him. You let him roll with the punches. I've said this all year long. Don't bench him like how you did last year. Really see if he's your guy. Personally, I don't think that he is. And if he's not your guy after this season, you bring in a quarterback and you have quarterback competition there. You bring in a veteran quarterback that's better than Andy Dalton at this stage of his career. Andy Dalton is not even a good backup quarterback anymore. He should be retired. And I don't know who that quarterback would be this offseason. The quarterback free agency class doesn't look good. But you have the offensive line, you have the talent on the outside that can help mask a lot of problems with the quarterback if the quarterback just has the anticipation, the timing, and the accuracy. And if he can be early on certain reads. And that's definitely not Bryce Young right now. And you bring in another quarterback, maybe he can push Bryce Young to that next level. But right now, it's not clicking on a week-to-week basis. But if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If like video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless. Peace.